Well, let's go ahead and get started here. So welcome. Thank you for joining us today for AspenTech's presentation of Unified Communications in Zoho One. I'm Marshall Knapp, your host today. I'm the president here at AspenTech CRM. I've personally been working in the CRM field since 1999, and I've been a Zoho certified consultant since 2014. Our company's been in the CRM and related fields since 1994. We've got clients throughout North America, even a few global clients, and they're in virtually all imaginable industries. We're based in Novi, Michigan, which for any of you who aren't familiar with the area, we're in Southeast Michigan, and we're about halfway between Detroit and Ann Arbor. We've got a team here of 8 full-time US-based consultants, trainers, developers, and support staff to help you get the most out of Zoho. So our agenda today, we've got an hour scheduled. I'm not sure we'll have all that time, but wanted to make sure we had plenty of time scheduled for this presentation and any questions that you might have to follow. We're going to go through a presentation here, which you'll get the slides in a follow-up email likely tomorrow. Then we're also going to go through a live demo. This whole presentation, by the way, is being recorded. You'll also get the recording afterwards. And then we'll get into Q&A, which feel free to post questions as we go here. You'll see in that control panel down at the bottom a little question mark there that you can click on. If you go in there, you can post questions as we go. I'll try to stop if I see a question that's relevant to what we're talking about at the moment, but otherwise we'll certainly have plenty of time for questions here at the end. Just real quickly, a little bit of a disclaimer here about the features that we're going to show and the availability of these. Not necessarily all features and enhancements are going to be available in all Zoho editions. As you're probably already aware, if you're using Zoho today, each application has various different editions that you can subscribe to if you're subscribing a la carte. If you have something like a bundle, like Zoho One, Zoho CRM Plus, those tend to include the higher end editions, so a lot of what we're showing would be there. But some features and enhancements also may be in early access. So you may have to enroll, they may be in a beta, things like that. But just contact us if you're not seeing what we're talking about here today, and we can certainly help you get access to these things. We're going to start out today by talking about the traditional integrations that Zoho provides with your third-party communication providers. So first, we've got your mail providers. And these guys also happen to integrate things like calendars, contacts as well, typically. Of course, we've got Office 365 and Outlook, as well as Google or Gmail, and the ability to integrate a variety of other email hosts through things like IMAP or POP and SMTP, or even API-based integrations. These traditional integrations exist throughout a variety of Zoho apps, from CRM to Desk to projects and many more. Also along the lines of the traditional integrations, we've got the VoIP or PBX integrations. VoIP, voice over IP, if you're not familiar with that terminology, those are your cloud-based phone systems. These cloud-based phone systems integrate into many different Zoho apps. There's actually over 100 different phone providers that Zoho integrates with. Nobody likes to misdial a phone number, or even for that matter, just manually dial any phone number these days. And you don't like picking up the phone either when you don't know who's calling you. And transferring calls to other people and stuff like that, or fielding calls for other people, has kind of become a thing of the past. So by integrating your Zoho CRM or other applications, your Zoho One environment, with something like a VoIP or PBX system, you can easily eliminate many of these problems. You can easily click to call from these apps. You get call pops when people are calling you using the caller ID based on the data that you have in your systems. You can also even integrate many of the VoIP systems that are out there in such a way that calls can be dynamically routed to an appropriate person within your organization using data from Zoho apps. And what I mean by that is, let's say you have an account that's overdue, you can route them to the accounts receivable department based on data in Zoho telling the phone system that that account's overdue. Do you have a team of salespeople assigned to certain accounts, or account managers internally dealing with certain accounts? You can route a customer easily to their account manager or salesperson without any human needing to be involved in that on either end. Either the customer doesn't need to press any buttons, nobody needs to pick up the phone on your end. The system just knows that if this customer is calling, this is who they route it to. So you've got a lot of neat integrations like that with the VoIP and the PBX systems. And then we have text and SMS, and this is a little bit more of a recent integration that Zoho has been doing more of. But we've seen a lot of providers getting into this space. I'm sure you've seen many more companies that you do business with sending you text messages. They can be a little bit annoying under the wrong circumstances if you feel like you're getting spam, or maybe when we get into political season and stuff like that, it feels like we're getting one every 5 minutes. But they can be really helpful too, like appointment reminders and other types of notifications. Some people are just prefer to engage this way too. Lots of companies are looking to kind of meet the customer sort of in the middle where they want to communicate, right? And so it helps with the customer engagement too. And you can send with this type of an integration one-off messages, or as you can see here, do something like a marketing blast or do like a workflow to include text messaging in your automations and reminders and notifications as well. We also have chat-based integrations that fall kind of under this umbrella of traditional integrations in Zoho One. It integrates with numerous chat platforms like live chat, Teams, Slack, things like that. These integrations allow you to receive notifications as well as view things like analytics data and other important information from Zoho within these separate chat apps. So those traditional integrations are fun, but we're here really to talk about more of the exciting, non-traditional, newer offerings from Zoho. If you want more information on some of the traditional offerings, there's a lot that's already out there published. Be happy to point you in the direction of any documentation or some of the videos that are out there already and a lot of that stuff. We want to spend a little bit more time in some of these fun features that Zoho is doing that are maybe not what you would necessarily think of when it comes to some of these things. So I'm going to start with Team Inbox here. We're going to talk a little bit about this, and I will get live into this and actually show you what it looks like on screen and demo it too here in just a little bit. But starting with Team Inbox. So Team Inbox is an email inbox that you can share with another individual or potentially a team of people within your organization. As emails come in, you can assign owners to each thread manually, or you can automatically do that based on rules that you configure within the system. You can share messages with your colleagues, even co-authoring replies with them. When you really like to pay close attention to an email, you can follow it and get notifications and updates based on activity surrounding that. If you're not quite ready to deal with a message yet and you want to kind of remove it from your immediate view, you can snooze it and then follow up when you are ready to. You can create message templates for common replies and share those amongst your team. You can set up common signatures for the team as well to make sure everybody's got that consistent too. You can have a discussion with your team surrounding a particular email thread. You need to have some conversation before you get back to somebody. That's actually what you're seeing on screen there in that little image. Team Inbox also provides some task management capabilities, as well as the ability to add a personal inbox, so you can access all your mail in one place and take advantage of a lot of these features across all your mailboxes. So with a tool like Team Inbox, you can definitely more easily collaborate with your team. It's also easier to ensure accountability as well as reduce email clutter. Think about not having to keep multiple copies of the same message, because you have the client's copy, but you also have your internal version that you've been passing back and forth amongst maybe a couple of different team members to get their feedback. you can just do that all in one place. You have one message, you can start to co-author replies, you can get a discussion going, things like that. We're not having to regularly forward messages to your colleagues just to keep them on the same page or keep them in the loop on what's happening. You can also really consolidate your email communications with something like Team Inbox, bringing in not only shared inboxes, but also personal inboxes, having the chat back and forth in there too, really helps keep a lot of things in one place there. You can also be more consistent with your messaging and your signatures, the way that you can create those templates for the team to use across the board. And ultimately, it makes the users more productive and efficient when they have these types of tools available to them. One of the cool things I really like to think about too is like adding new team members, guiding them through onboarding. When you have a tool like this where you can shadow the email communication and collaborate with them much more easily. So Team Inbox is included in Zoho One. It's also available as an a la carte application. If you have any questions about that, we can certainly address some of those, either as we go through the presentation here or at the end. The next application I want to talk about here is Zoho Trident. This is actually the latest release from Zoho and what we're going to be sharing today. Trident was just announced a couple of months ago and is currently in beta. This is actually a free app that you can go out and download today. You can install this if you're on a PC or a Mac. It is a locally installed application. It combines email, chat, calls, and online meetings all into a single app here for us. It also includes things like contacts, calendars, tasks, and notes too. And there's some really innovative features coming in through Trident, like natural language commands. So being able to tell the system to do something in a relatively normal language like we would speak as humans, and actually having it understand that and do what you want it to do, as well as drag and drop capabilities to share information between Zoho apps. Also includes offline access, so you can really work whenever it's convenient for you. If you're on an airplane, you can still access the mail that's already been downloaded, compose replies. They'll all be there then when you get back online to send those. So Trident is a really powerful workplace tool that brings together multiple communications apps into a single interface for you. You can also multitask really easily with some of the built-in widgets and some of the integrations that they have throughout the Zoho suite. We also think with the modern look and feel, it's definitely something that we encourage you to check out. We think you're going to really like this. And next up is Zoho Voice. Voice is Zoho's very own cloud-based VoIP and SMS platform. It includes unlimited calls in a few key regions right now to start, US, Canada, and Australia. We do expect Zoho Voice, though, to expand more globally. Additionally, Zoho Voice also includes one-way global SMS, so you can blast messages and notifications to anybody throughout the world. It also includes two-way local SMS for the US and Canada right now. And again, expecting Zoho Voice to expand more globally in that area as well. Zoho Voice also includes a lot of advanced call center features like call queues, call listening, call barging, power dialer, queue performance analytics. So there's really a lot there. That is an add-on, the advanced call center, to the base subscription, but you can really do a lot with Zoho Voice. In addition, there's some powerful capabilities like call transcription and call intelligence. Call transcription integrates with Google APIs to transcribe the calls. That's an add-on as well, but could be very powerful if that's something you're interested in. And then call intelligence, it does AI-based call feedback, denotes things like sentiment within the call and can tell you whether or not a call had a negative sentiment to it or a positive sentiment to it. And Zoho Voice also seamlessly integrates throughout the Zoho platform, including an SMS extension for CRM, which we'll take a look at just a little bit later. So with Zoho Voice integrated into your Zoho One or your Zoho deployment, we think efficiency can easily increase, customer service ratings improve, and your team enjoys productivity benefits of having a tool like this seamlessly integrated. You also have a ton of analytics available right at your fingertips, so that can be very helpful as well. On top of that, Zoho Voice is very economical when you look at a lot of the key competitors that are out there in the marketplace. Zoho Voice is not included in Zoho One. It's hard to include a phone service that's based on usage and stuff like that. But like I said, it is very economical. It plugs into Zoho One very easily, so you can add this as an a la carte service, whether you're using Zoho One or any other Zoho apps within the ecosystem. Right. Let's actually take a look at some of these fun and exciting new features here. So like we said earlier, we're not going to spend a lot of time on the traditional integrations. Oops, sorry, I don't want to be there. We'll hang out right here for a minute. We don't want to spend a lot of time on the traditional integrations. There's a lot of materials and content already out there for you. If you do want any insight into how Outlook or Gmail integrates into Zoho, or how you can integrate your existing SMS or VoIP service, things of that nature, don't hesitate to reach out. There's tons of resources available that we can point you towards there. But the focus of today's webinar is really some of these new features and functionality from Zoho, or some of these less traditional, less commonly used ones that we think are pretty exciting and want to let you and a lot of our clients know about these types of things. So we're going to get into Team Inbox. We're going to get into Trident. We're also going to look at Zoho Voice as well, how that integrates. So yeah, let me jump in and we'll take a look at those. All right, so starting with Team Inbox. So we're going to go teaminbox.zoho.com here. So as I mentioned earlier, Team Inbox is an email inbox that you can share with other individuals or other collections of individuals within your team. So let's think about use cases here. You might have something like a sales email address, or maybe an info support of course, that's a pretty common one. Or you might have a web form that comes into a single email address, a single inbox from your website. I would ask you why you don't have your web forms integrated more easily and more directly with Zoho, but that's a conversation for another day. Or maybe, like we said earlier, you've got a new team member that needs some coaching. And this is a great way to sort of look over their shoulder and provide some guidance when things are really new. So this is Team Inbox here. You can see various inboxes here. The assigned to me inbox are messages that either have been manually assigned to me or automatically assigned to me based on rules within the system. And then I can work all of my messages right from within this particular area. I know which ones are in my queue. It's very easy to disseminate that from others. Then you got the assigned to others here. So anybody else within the organization or within Team Inbox and our department here that I work with would see the messages here that are assigned to the others. And you can see quickly and easily with an icon like this, the fact that another user is assigned to that, and even hovering over that, see who it is. If you decide to follow any messages so that you get updates and notifications on those, that's another inbox right here. So you can click on that and view those separately. You can see here I can unfollow this message quite easily if I wanted to. I could also go in here and check out some of the recent activities that have happened on this thread if I'm interested in seeing some of those updates. Shared with me would actually be emails from other individuals' personal inboxes or other inboxes that I don't necessarily have access to that people have shared to me. So that's kind of an interesting one as well, where you then have some additional messages here. And then, of course, you have your typical folders like draft and sent and spam and trash and things of that nature. One other one I wanted to highlight here, though, is snoozed. You can snooze messages as well so that it can come up at a later point and remind you to go back to this. It does not show up under the assigned to me. It does not show up in a lot of the other places if you don't want it to. And then you can easily go back to these when the time is right. In addition to the team inboxes that you have, you can also have personal inboxes. Those would show up down below here. So like I mentioned earlier during the presentation, this is a great way to get all of your mail in one place, but also be able to take advantage of a lot of the tools that Zoho has available to you through Team Inbox that a lot of your traditional mail clients don't give you. So we saw a little bit earlier how I could see the activity on a thread. So if I'm following a message like this and some things have been happening, I can easily go in there and check that out. You can also have discussions on these threads as well. So if I go into something like this here and click up here, you can go into show the comments here. And you can see here where we've got sort of a back and forth conversation going on with this individual. And I've actually got another tab over here, another browser window where I can go in there and start typing a message back. And we'll send that from the other screen here. And then you'll see you get a message over here. And so you can do different things here. You can even attach a file. Sure, let's review the quote. Let me attach it here before we meet. And I can do that. And then we know we're both looking at the same thing. We're both on the same page. It's all tied in directly to this email. It's not going to show, this chat's not going to show up on other threads or anything like that. I don't have to go looking for it anywhere. It's always going to be attached right here. One of the other neat things you can do in here too is extensions. So there's a variety of extensions or integrations that work with this. One of the really popular ones would of course be CRM. With the CRM extension, this is actually a lot like the Zoho Mail CRM extension or the Zoho Gmail extension for CRM or the Mail add-in for CRM for Outlook. It does a lot of the same type of stuff. If you already have this contact or lead in your system, it will display some contextual information from them. If you want to add this as a new lead or a new contact to the system, you can very easily do that from here. And then there's also some other information that you can see, like activities and tasks and meetings and different things like that too. All right. Just want to take a quick look at some of the settings inside of here. So that's up here in the top right. If we scroll down to the bottom of this and get into the more settings, this is where some of the interesting ones are here. You've got all the other settings that we were just looking at, but this shows you everything really. So you've got the ability to tweak, the display and different things like that, like you typically do in a lot of different Zoho apps. But I want to go into the organization settings here and show you some of the things that you can do within here. So like rules, for example. We talked about assigning messages to an individual as they come in, or you can do it manually, of course, too, change the assignment anytime you want. But we've got a user, his name's Mr. Ghostbuster. And anytime a message comes in where the subject contains ghost or the body contains the same word, then we're going to look at these inbound messages or replies that are coming in, and we're going to assign those to Mr. Ghostbuster here. And that's all going to happen automatically the instant these messages come in. So other people don't even have to worry about those coming into like their own assigned queue or the unassigned queue or things like that. So that can be really helpful. Another thing I mentioned earlier too is the common signatures, the shared signatures. So this is a team signature that if you're using the same inbox, you might want to have a consistent signature coming from everybody. You can set these kinds of things up here. You can also set up consistent response templates as well. So if you get a new inquiry and you typically want the same type of reply going back to them, or at the end of a job or something like that, you want to send the same type of follow-up to everybody, it's very easy to set up these response templates that you do for the entire organization, and then any individual user can utilize these. So as you can see, Team Inbox really provides a nice new way to manage emails from a team perspective. A tool like this can really help you ensure accountability, reduce email clutter, improve productivity and efficiency, as well as help you when you're training a new team member. The next application I want to show you here is Zoho Trident. So Trident is a brand new application. I mentioned earlier, this is in beta right now. Let me get out of that right there. So while something's in beta, it's in early access beta. It's not fully out there in production yet, although you guys can go out and download it. And if you're interested, I can include a link to download Trident in the follow-up email. In fact, I'll go ahead and do that. And so Trident is another way of accessing, first and foremost, mail. That's at kind of the center of Trident. It is such a predominant type of communication for us, right? And so mail is at the center of this, but Trident also includes chat, calls, and online meetings, as well as contacts, calendars, tasks, and notes. And it also integrates with numerous other Zoho apps to provide capabilities there as well. In addition, Trident is available offline. This is an installed app. So whatever you've downloaded into this, when you go offline, as far as mail, contacts, things like that, you're going to still have access to those things. And you can even compose an email, and then when you get back online, that would send out. So this has only been out maybe a couple of months now. And like I said, it is in beta. So there's probably still some little glitches here and there, but for the most part in our testing, everything's worked exactly as we expected it to, and we found this to be a very helpful application for us. So let's take a look around Zoho Trident. We're in the mail right now. That's where we started out. So of course you can do typical mail composition, replies, forwards, things like that. Just manage this email as if you would any other type of mail client like this. But where Zoho starts to differentiate is something like Zoho Click, as an example. Zoho Click is built into this as well. And so you've got Click, which is, if you don't use it already, is an awesome messaging app that you can use both internally with your team, as well as potentially externally if you have other Zoho users that you collaborate with outside of your organization as well. And you can chat with individuals, you can create group chats, you can get notifications from various Zoho apps with links to records and different stuff like that, like these tickets pending ones that are coming in from Zoho Desk. It's a very powerful app, hugely helpful within our organization, as well as for many of our clients. And then you got the calendar here as well. Again, integrating with Zoho, so you can bring in like people holidays from Zoho People. You can bring in your Zoho CRM calendar. This is a little bit cluttered. This is a demo environment where we're doing some testing on some recurring meetings. But you can see how you can bring that. Even Zoho tasks can come in here as well. And so it's very easy to filter things in and out of this calendar. You can go and you can schedule new items as well. I don't want to schedule something in the past, so maybe we'll go out here. And you can add typical details to a calendar entry, even adding Zoho Meeting as your preferred platform here to host that meeting. And then, of course, when it comes to actually having that meeting, you can start that up right from here as well. Another cool feature inside Trident here that I want to show you is the natural language processing, or the way you can do natural language commands. So if we click on this Smart Assistant right up here, or if I just simply hit Control Space, as you can see, let me just do that, Control Space. Now it's waiting for input. So basically all I have to do is say, call, and say Wendy. And Wendy's part of my Click channels or Click network. And so it knows when I go to call and I say Wendy, that's who I want to call. And so I can easily make a call like that straight from the Smart Assistant without having to go into Click, find Wendy, and then click a button to have to call her. So that can be really helpful. And you can actually go in here and you can see a lot of different options. So you can do a video call, you can do an audio call, you can change statuses in Click, you can check in with Zoho People or out from Zoho People, you can set up an online meeting. And these things are just going to build and build, and you're going to have a lot of these quick type actions available to you within Trident. So very powerful, handy new feature there. One of the other neat features within Trident that you're not going to get from any other mail clients out there is the ability to have all these widgets over here. So like this is a Zoho Click widget. I don't actually have to go into Click. I can see my new unread messages here. I can go to my contacts. I can start up a new chat with somebody. Different things like that, all right from this little widget without ever even having to go into Click within Trident or into the Click application itself. You can do similar things with stuff like Zoho Work Drive. This is the Zoho Notebook one, although it doesn't seem to be loading at the moment, maybe an issue with our beta build here. But you can do a lot here with Zoho and these various integrated apps that you have through the widgets. So Zoho Trident is a consolidated communications platform for your modern teams that really need the ability to multitask easily. But predominantly, like we said, this is centered around mail first and foremost. So if you're not using email heavily, it may not be the right tool for you. But if you're like most of us with Outlook or Gmail, and that's at the center of your day, this can really help integrate Zoho tightly into that. All right, and finally, I want to get into Zoho Voice. So let's go here, and we're going to do voice.zoho.com. So as I mentioned earlier, Zoho Voice is Zoho's very own cloud voice over IP platform, VoIP platform. It includes unlimited calls in US, Canada, and Australia right now, although that should expand globally. Zoho Voice includes one-way global SMS as well as two-way local SMS for US and Canada. And also includes lots of advanced features like call center queues, call listening, call barging, power dialer, queue performance analytics, and it also integrates seamlessly throughout the Zoho platform. So let me show you a little bit about what we've got going on here. So this is the Zoho Voice Command Center. This is where you really manage, can get an overview of the dashboard and see everything that's going on within the system. Now, this is just a demo account here, so we don't have a lot of activity going on, but you can easily accumulate statistics here, see your call loads, your other important statistics for you in your organization, and see how your users and your agents overall are doing with their calls. There's logging here. There's the users area, so you can go in here and add users, edit users. There's a variety of different roles that users can be deployed to that you can see within here. Additionally, you can set up queues. So if you wanted to set up like a sales queue or a customer service or support queue, we don't have any in here at the moment. But what you basically do within here is you go in and create a queue. So we would set up something like sales. You can set up a sales email, so we'll do something like that. You can set up notifications to that email. So if you're using something like sales inbox, maybe if we get a missed call with a voicemail, then this would go to this common inbox over in team inbox. Sorry, not sales inbox, team inbox. And then obviously the sales team can kind of take it from there. You can specify an extension if there is one. You can choose on hold music. You can do the default, or you can specify an individual one for a department like this, which is kind of interesting. You can set up a maximum waiting time, and then it would take them to a voicemail if they wait longer than that. And then you can set up how you want the queue to actually work. Do you want it to just ring progressively? Do you want to do a round robin? Do you want it to simultaneously ring everybody that isn't already tied up? How do you want that type of thing to work? And then you can choose the various agents that you want to have associated with this. I only have a single user set up in here right now, so I can't really configure a call queue. But once you set up multiple users, you can do that type of thing for the various departments within your team. There's a variety of integrations available here. Right off the shelf, we've got CRM Desk, Zoho Begin, and Zoho Service Desk Plus. I've got both CRM and Desk integrated for us today. We'll take a look at those in just a minute. Contacts, you can add contacts in here. Not entirely sure yet on the functionality that that's really going to provide. Call configuration, this is where you buy numbers and set up who can use them, those types of things. Here's the numbers that are available that you can purchase. There's all sorts of numbers from virtually all area codes. I did searching in all the area codes around us and found a variety of phone numbers, and a number of them that were quite easy to remember too. So I was pretty pleased to see what they had available out there. So it's kind of a nice add here. Then you have settings for this as well, of course, where you can set up your own profile, the business's information, the various audio profiles, and all sorts of different things that are important to you when you set up a phone system like this. There's also a desktop app for Zoho Voice. So you can see here, I can actually have a little desktop app for it. I don't need to be logged into Zoho Voice, but if I am logged into Zoho Voice there, then Zoho Voice has the same sort of little tool panel here. But I can use this from my desktop. I can change my status here from the desktop. I can set up see my notifications and even filter those based on what's here. And then also you can go into your voicemail directly from here as well. So you can do something like that, and it takes us to our voicemail box, and we can check our voicemail right from that desktop app. So let's take a look at a little bit about how these are integrated into some of the tools that we love to use. So let's go into CRM here. And inside of CRM, I'm just going to go to a contact. Let's go contacts and bring up a contact here. And you can see next to all of the phone numbers in my Zoho CRM, I have the ability to call. And so I can initiate a call. This is the click to dial functionality from here, or you can click on call up here, and then it pops up and asks you what phone number you want to dial. Either way, the result's going to be, I have to tell it to allow my microphone, sure. And then I can see here, oh, this number is on my block list. Well, it happens to be 555-555-5555. So obviously not a legitimate number, but you can see how that would work. And then once we create a call like that, or initiate a call like that, that pop-up came up in the bottom right corner down here. And then once that call ends, that would actually log the call into the closed activities area here. We never actually made the call because it's not to a legitimate number, and we're not actually going to make calls to legitimate numbers in a video like this, but you can see how that would work, and then we'd eventually get a log of the closed activity here, the call logging taking place through this integration. In addition to that, you can also send an SMS message directly from here. So this is the conversational, essentially the two-way SMS. I can actually go in and just start typing a message down here. And then if this was to a legitimate phone number, we'd be able to send, but we can't do that right now because it's the 555 number. So, but you can see how that would work. And then back and forth here, you could actually engage and have a conversation with this individual. You can also configure these types of things, SMS notifications, stuff like that, into your workflows and other notifications if that's something that you want to do. You can see this is the type of thing that really enables you to work more seamlessly with an app like Zoho CRM. This type of functionality also exists inside Zoho Desk as well as many other apps. I'm just going to take you into Desk here to show you real quickly how a different app kind of presents this thing to you. So we'll go into customers here. We'll go into one of these. Oh, not that one. That's a terrible name. We'll go here. And you can see right here, we've got similar phone icons next to these phones here. So we can easily dial if we've got an open support ticket with this individual, easily dial right to them, get them on the phone and get their issues resolved. So I think what you'll find is Zoho Voice is a very powerful cloud-based voice over IP platform that really integrates seamlessly into a lot of the Zoho tools that you already use, such as CRM, Desk, and many others. It's also very economical, like I mentioned earlier, when you compare this to a lot of the key competitors out there. So I encourage you to check out Zoho Voice a little bit more and let us know if there's anything we can do to assist you. All right, let's get back over here. Sorry, give me just 1 second here. And I'm just checking the questions here while we're going along. Somebody asked, will the recordings be available after the webinar? Yes, absolutely. They will be available. You'll get an email shortly following the webinar that's automated from the system that has a recording, and then I'll send a follow-up email in the next day or two with a few other resources, but I'll also include a recording in that as well. So I just want to mention briefly how AspenTech CRM can assist if you're interested. With any of these applications, or really throughout the Zoho suite, we can help you with selecting the right apps for your organization, depending on what your needs are. We can also provide guidance if you're implementing on your own and just need a helping hand from time to time. We can do hands-on setup and configuration assistance too, if that's something that you're interested in. We can provide end user, manager, as well as administrator level training. We do a lot of custom development and custom integrations. We can also provide technical support if you're running into any miscellaneous issues. So how to reach AspenTech CRM. You can see my name, email address on the left-hand side there. Over on the right is our general phone number, as well as our Zoho support email address. So if you want to reach out to us, those are a couple of different options for you. Feel free to reach out if you need anything or if you feel like we can help you out. And let's go ahead and get into questions here. If anybody does need to drop off, I just wanted to mention briefly, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate you taking some time out of your day to join us here today. And hopefully you found this very informative and informational, and hopefully there's some takeaways here that you can start to use in your Zoho environment. So thank you for attending, and we're going to get into some Q&A now for the rest of the time that we have here remaining. Someone asked, can you port an existing number to Zoho Voice? Does texting go to the same number? Yes to both questions. You can absolutely port an existing number over, and you can use the same number for text if you want to, but you can also create alternative numbers as well, or additional numbers. A follow-up question on that, do you need the enterprise edition of Zoho CRM to integrate voice? Good question. No, you do not. Telephony integrations do not require the enterprise edition, although I don't believe they're available in all editions. I can get you more specifics on that if there are any limitations on that. Okay, any other questions here? Right. So one other question we've got here is, it looks like there's both personal and team settings for team inbox. Can we go back to those? Yeah, absolutely. So give me just a second here. Personal and team settings for team inbox. Let me get back into team inbox. So the settings was back up here in the top right. And you got a lot of these basic settings right here, but if we scroll down, we can get into the more settings. And under the more settings, the initial one you load to is personal. And there's actually, so there's some settings that are unique to the individual, like your inboxes and your personal sender address and things like that. But there's also some that are duplicative of the organization settings. So you can either have personal ones set up, or you can utilize the organization ones. And those are things like signatures, response templates, and tags, as well as rules. So rules, signatures, response templates, and tags, those kind of exist on both ends there. And you can look at, you can configure those individually for yourself, or you can configure those at an organizational level. So what do we need in order to install Trident? So actually, let me go out to download Zoho Trident here. There's unveiling Trident for Zoho Workplace. We scroll down to the bottom of this. Yeah, there we go. So download it from here. Okay. Oh, just zoho.com/Trident. All right, that's easy enough. So we have the download for Windows here. We have the download for Mac, I believe, as well. And then it'll tell you right here what's required from a compatibility standpoint. The only other thing that we need to do is make sure that we have a Zoho Mail account, or that we've added our one of our own mail accounts to Zoho Mail. And then either that's what Zoho Trident essentially accesses on the back end, is Zoho Mail. Do you use something like Team Inbox or Trident instead of the traditional integrations or in addition to? It's a good question. So when it comes to email integration, I would say Team Inbox and Trident would typically supplement the standard integration you're already using with, say, Office 365 or Gmail, etc. That being said, something like Team Inbox or Trident does have the ability to replace the way that you access your traditional mail. So it's not necessarily replacing how you integrate with Zoho, because you still might use like an IMAP or a POP integration. You might want to use BCC Dropbox to get those emails into your Zoho CRM. But you can certainly change the way you access your email by shifting, say, from the traditional Outlook interface or Gmail interface to something like Team Inbox or Trident if you see the benefits in doing so. While we're on the topic of those traditional integrations, I just want to mention, though, like something else like Zoho Voice, though. Zoho Voice would replace your traditional integration. So if you're using, a Ring Central, a Twilio, GoTo, somebody like that today, Zoho Voice does have the potential to replace that provider, and then, of course, that integration inside your Zoho deployment. So just a reminder, there's a Q&A icon down at the bottom of the screen there. You can click on that and you can post questions there. Feel free to post a question if you need anything. Feel free to circle back to us after this session. Either way, we're here to help. Here to help you get the most out of Zoho. We hope you enjoyed this. I'll stick around for a couple more minutes in case there's any other questions coming up. But if you do have to go, again, thank you for joining us. We do appreciate your time very much. There's a question about pricing. Can you talk to us about pricing for these apps? Yeah, absolutely. I mentioned a little bit as we went along if something's like included in Zoho One, stuff like that, but let's just kind of circle back to that at a high level here. Team Inbox is the first app that we talked about. That is included with Zoho One. So if you're on Zoho One, that is completely free to you. If you do subscribe separately to Team Inbox, if you're not on a bundle that includes it like Zoho One, plans start at $5 per user per month. So pretty economical. Zoho Trident is completely free. Again, you have those kind of precursors or requirements of having something like a Zoho Mail account or inputting your mail account into Zoho Mail. But Trident in and of itself is entirely free. And then Zoho Voice. Zoho Voice is something that you pay for regardless of the type of Zoho subscription that you already have. Plans start there at $10 per user per month, which, like I said earlier, I think you'll find very, very competitive when it comes to the marketplace out there and a lot of the other voice over IP providers. And you can purchase a number for as little as $1.15 a month. I think that's also extremely competitive. And the SMS credits cost fractions of pennies. They're very competitive with a lot of the popular providers out there as well. So encourage you to check that out, see if it's something that you might be interested in. It does integrate very, very seamlessly with Zoho and many of the different apps that are out there, and can provide you with a much easier way to work within those apps. I'll hang around for just a little bit longer, see if there's any other questions. Again, thank you for joining us today. All right, it looks like our attendees are actually dropping off here, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up this session. Thank you again, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a great rest of your day.